Tashdile, welcome to In Conversation with Tibet TV. This is Masood Butt. Today, for the first time, I have with me a Tibetan Muslim who had previously served at the Central Tibetan Administration for 17 years, holding various positions. Currently, he works at the Administrative Department of Tibetan Public School in Srinagar. He is also a member at the Welfare Committee and runs a sponsorship program for the needy children in their community with the help of CTA's Department of Education. I am honored to introduce you to Masood Butt. Masoodla, it's an immense joy to have you here. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Sakina, for having me on Tibet TV program, and nice meeting you. Assalamu alaikum and Tashdile.
So Masoodla, how do you feel about coming to Dharamshala after 8 years, and what brings you here this time?
Coming back to Dharamshala after 8 years is a bit emotional for me. Yesterday when I entered the department where I served for a long time, I was quite emotional. I looked around and saw many of the new faces. So I was asking for some my friends. So there are very few left behind. So it was quite like a homecoming and meeting your own old friends and family members.
You have joined CTA in 1993 and served for 17 long years. So what changes do you see now, and how was experience back then?
When I came to Conversation, which is the headquarters of the Central Tibetan Administration, I was a bit amazed to see so many different changes. Physically, the landscape has completely changed. So I saw many of the offices expanding. So there's a lot of progress and development activity still going on. Earlier times, we have a very limited spaces. So right now, what I see is there's an expansion of spaces, and the facilities are very quite improved. So these are improvements I could see, and very happy to see those improvements, and quite a lot of progress has been made.
So tell us something about your experience back then when you were working here at CTA.
Yes, when I first joined in 1993, I was quite young. I had just finished my graduation from Delhi. I got a very good opportunity working under a very experienced and professional seniors who have actually guided me all along those years. So I learned a lot. Instead of learning many things at school, so I could say yes, 99% I learned on the job. So this is a very good experience. So I'm very grateful to my seniors who really actually taught me to work under them and guided me all along those years. I take this opportunity to thank them because they have really made me just to work for a certain community. I gave my credit to them because working knowledge I gained from them.
Okay, so how important do you think it is for the Tibetan Muslims to be important champions for the Tibetan cause, in particular to serve in the Central Tibetan Administration?
Being a Tibetan is not specific for any other particular community to be involved in the Tibetan cause. So this is the responsibility, I think, being a Tibetan, whether he is belonging to this or that community or that religion or that particular religion, doesn't matter. So if you identify yourself as a Tibetan, so I think the responsibility, you have to shoulder that responsibility. So every single Tibetan has certain kind of a responsibility at their own level to get involved in the Tibetan cause. Whatever task you have in hand, so you should always prepare your mind to get it done at your best ability. So this is my actually philosophy of working at any time under any circumstances.
So do you encourage your students in your school to work at CTA?
Definitely. That's what I have been preparing my students. Mm-hmm. Right now I am taking my students on an educational tour. The main purpose of taking our students to Dharamshala is to give them opportunity to know about Central Tibetan Administration, which is very important. Since we are separated from our Buddhist community, they don't know much about the Tibetan Buddhist community. So this is the opportunity I want to give them to see how our Buddhist brethren are living in exile, how they have organized themselves. So how they're preserving their religion, culture, traditions, to prepare themselves in their life to get them involved if they get professionally trained, educated, so they have equal opportunity to serve in the Tibetan administration or in any other Tibetan community.
This is the first time for the Tibetan Muslim children getting an educational tour to Dharamshala and getting to know about Central Tibetan administration and how the people live here. So what kind of feedbacks and reactions are you getting from the students?
It's very good because they have coming from a very small community, because we are very small in number and our school is not compared to the Tibetan schools here in Dharamshala. It's a very small school. Coming to Dharamshala and seeing everything in a massive way. When I told them that they have to go to Dharamshala to visit the Central Tibetans, they never thought about on large scale. They thought it's like their own community. It could be a very small thing, but coming over here, they are quite amazed to see. So we are very well organized, and then we have so many different departments, and there's cultural centers. So it's very, so they almost open their mind looking at the larger picture of the Tibetans in diaspora.
So are they saying that they want to work here when they...
I hope so, yes. They will keep it in mind, yes, and make their career in the Tibetan administration.
So in what ways are the Tibetan Muslims in Srinagar preserving the Tibetan culture and tradition in order to keep their Tibetan identity alive?
Most of our inner community, our parents and grandparents, they come from Lhasa, and there are very few families who have come from Sedang and Shigazi. They live together as a homogeneous community. So that's how help them to preserve their own language, tradition, culture, and religion, since we are following the Islam. So they could preserve whatever that they have from Tibet. So we have still continue to speak at home the same Tibetan Lhasa dialect. We continue to wear Tibetan dresses, and we continue to have our Tibetan cuisines. So there are certain cultural aspects of it. We continue to preserve those things, those traditions and culture.
His Holiness the Dalai Lama visited the Tibetan settlement in Srinagar quite a number of times. So how do the people there feel about His Holiness's visit?
I will tell you, last time His Holiness visited our school was in 2012. Then many of those who have come from Tibet, so they have got quite old enough. It's been after 24 years, His Holiness was visiting our settlements. So that 24 years, some of them are waiting for the next time when they could see His Holiness.
Again.
So some of the, yes, I could see grandmothers crying. Very emotional attachment of the Tibetan Muslims to His Holiness the Dalai Lama. Since, as you know, our history, since the 5th Dalai Lama, who gave land to the Muslim community in Lhasa to settle down. So we have a great respect to all the Dalai Lamas. And the 14th Dalai Lama has all the time very concerned about the welfare of the Tibetan Muslims. His Holiness visited first time when we are at old settlement at Idgah in 1975. So after that, when we have got a new settlement at Hawal area in Srinagar, His Holiness visited then in 1984. And it was in 2012 His Holiness visited there for the third time. So all the time, so His Holiness was very concerned. He was inquiring about the welfare, educational, the basic needs, health, all these requirements in the settlements, and also about the religion. So His Holiness was very concerned about the religious teaching to our younger generations.
So Masood, you know that the older Tibetan generation are more connected to the Tibet history, and you belong to the middle generation. You have dealt with both the older generation and the current generation. So how much awareness do you think is there among the current generation on Tibet history?
I could see a new generation coming up, and this is the age of the technology where they can log on to internet, and they have a massive information. So the new generation, I think they are more aware. When I was young, so we don't have those technology to get information. We know about Tibet only from our parents and grandparents. Whatever they could tell about Tibet, They could tell about Tibet only limited wherever they belong, about their places, not about the larger picture of Tibet. Now the younger generations, they have got an opportunity to know more about Tibet.
You said that your students, they came here for the educational tour. So, no, were they aware that there is a central Tibetan administration from before itself?
Yes, they know. Yes, they are much aware about us. Since we have a separate school, so we sometimes hold a talk show to talk to them about the certain aspects of the Tibetan life in exile. So sometimes we tell them about the functioning of the democratic setup in exile. Sometimes we focus on the role and responsibilities of the particular department, like a Department of Education, because they have very much related to the Department of Education. And then sometimes we talk to them about the Tibetan performing arts. So we keep on holding those discussions with our students to get them give them opportunity to know about all these things.
So you came here and you have visited various departments in Central Tibetan Administration, and you have also spoken with Sikyong. You had a talk with him, and he also mentioned that if any Tibetan Muslims, they want to come and join here, they can tell us directly and he will directly employ them without giving any exams or anything. So how do you feel about all this?
Yes, this is a very good opportunity, because we got assurance from the highest authority, from the Sikyong himself, that those who want serve in the Central Tibetan Administration, so he or she could directly get in touch with him, and then they get the recruitment here. So those who are completing their college studies and from the universities, so they would hope apply for the working in the Central Tibetan Administration.
So Masood, do you have anything to say at the end?
Thank you very much for having me. And last thing I want to, to a larger Tibetan community, I want to say that for the younger generations, please keep our hopes alive and continue to work wherever you are, continue to serve the Tibetan cause. And it's the responsibility of all of us to, at any level, to continue to serve the Tibetan cause.
Okay, thank you so much, Masood, for coming to the show. It was wonderful to have you here.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for watching, and see you in the next episode of In Conversation with Tibet TV.